Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's another great morning here in the Ohio with news from your good buddy Spider. That's right. That's right. It's me. Hopefully this is actually taking here because it doesn't look like the microphone is working on the avatar here. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Check, 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 check. I guess it's good. I don't know. I guess I'll find out when there's a whole bunch of silence, maybe. So, you're sipping coffee with Spider. That's the show. It's news, morning news. So let's do it. ABC News. Pardon me, excuse me. With this developing story, it's been developing for a few days. It's mutating and moving on. 1,500 Palestinian militants found dead along Israeli-Gaza border. The Israel Defense Force says that's pretty rough. That's pretty rough, considering all the casualties on the other side already. So it's not looking good. It is not looking good either way. It's a continuing to develop situation. So we'll see how things go from here. WWG with the obvious new PS5 Slim console revealed by Sony. They always come out with these slim models, like right after they do the main model. Like, it's just a cash grab, because if you could do it, why wouldn't you make it the slimmest you possibly could to begin with? Because they know people are going to say it's bulky because it's new, and they're going to want to get a thinner version. So you're going to just wait and see if somebody needs to buy another one. And that's what's going to happen. I don't like it when Xbox does it. I don't like when PlayStation does it. I think it's kind of annoying myself, but whatever. Who knows? PC Mag with more stating the obvious. Google warns of flaw that can launch record-breaking DDoS attacks, which are denial of service attacks, which is how most websites get taken down these days. And I'm not surprised, because Google is not very secure. They go on and on about how their security is this and their security is that. Their security is terrible. It absolutely is terrible. And that's why I try not to use Google too much. Unfortunately, I use an Android phone, and Android is Google-based, so I feel kind of crappy about that. But the alternative was Apple, and I don't like Apple. I like Apple even less. So we'll see. KNX News 97.1 FM with sugar shortage threatens Halloween supply. Oh my gosh. There's always a new shortage to put a dent in things. Anytime that there's something coming along that makes people happy, there's a shortage. You notice that? So if you're looking to get your Halloween candy, better get it now before it runs out. And keep it in your freezer maybe until it gets to be Halloween, and then let it thaw a little bit. I don't know. Not all candy you can do that with, but some of it you can. Comicbook.com. All Justice League actors reportedly being recast for James Gunn's new DC universe. And this is something that was kind of one of those writing on the wall sort of situations. The DC extended universe, or the DC shared universe, whatever you want to call it, which was supposed to be a rival to the Marvel comic universe, or cinematic universe rather, the MCU. It had a rough start, but it had some good points here and there, and some of the actors were decent enough. But now those are going to be all new, and this was kind of rumored to be happening anyway, because Mr. Gunn does not like reusing things. He likes using his own people and going from there. So Who knows? Will they be better? Will they do a better job? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I know some of these folks have had some issues, like the guy who plays the Flash in the Justice League movies. He has a lot of personal stuff going on that prevents him, I think, from getting another job like that. But I don't know. I don't know. I didn't watch most of those movies. I actually haven't seen most of the Marvel ones after the first several. I don't know. I'm way out of the loop with all these things. NBC Politics Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who you haven't heard a whole lot of out of until recently. She's been kind of quiet with all this Trump stuff going on. Condemns, quote, hatred and anti-Semitism, unquote, at pro-Palestinian rally. And it's difficult to take that stance at a rally where you're against the people of that nationality. Now, it's not impossible, but it is difficult. And it certainly is bad optics. And this is what I've been talking about for several days. The Democrat side doesn't seem to understand how things look. And people don't vote based on facts and figures so much anymore. They base things on how they feel and how things look to them, how the optics look. And I think you've got some pretty bad optics. Some pretty bad optics on the Democrat side. And this is one of them. It's you could have held off on a pro-Palestine rally until after this current thing was kind of died down a little bit, you know? You could have held off a little bit. PC Mag, according to the FCC, major internet service providers will need to display broadband labels by April. What does that mean exactly? The broadband labels are designed to make it easy for consumers to understand the full price and performance of an internet service plan. Expect the labels to appear online and at physical stores. Very interesting. And smaller internet service providers with 100,000 or fewer subscribers will be required to start showing the labels by October of next year. They're trying to combat hidden charges and hidden fees and trying to show people what is worth the money and what is not. Very interesting. The label looks kind of like I don't know if this oh yeah, this is a real one. I thought maybe this was just a mock-up, but this is it's going to look like the same thing you see on food, like the nutrition facts and labels. So that's going to be kind of a new thing. Maybe it'll help, maybe it won't. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. It's more regulation, which is more money involved and more fees, but still it is helpful to see what you're getting for your money. I don't mind that so much. We'll see how it rolls out. Newsweek, with some clickbait, says Middle America will soon be too hot to live in, scientists predict. And I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. New research has found that Middle America could soon be too hot for humans to live in. The section of the United States from Florida to New York and Houston to Chicago could get so hot that humans would not be able to withstand the heat if the planet continues to warm past 3 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, according to a study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Here's the kicker. At the Earth's current level of warming, the U.S. will experience heat waves, but they will not surpass human limitations. Will not surpass human limitations. During the study, scientists looked at 5 possible warming scenarios, if the Earth were to warm beyond pre-industrial levels. So it's definitely a clickbait. It's not it's a maybe sort of thing. According to current models, it's not going to happen though. So they don't predict it as an inevitability. See how they do these things? They're trying to get you worked up, get you afraid of things. Reuters with Biden administration to announce $7 billion in hydrogen hub grants Friday, according to sources. Is that what I think it is? Let me take a look. They're going to build regional hydrogen hubs to produce 50 million metric tons of clean hydrogen fuel by 2050. And that's actually not bad. I'm not, things like solar and wind and all those other things are all well and good. And cars, the electric cars are just, they sound good on paper, but they're still not great. But hydrogen power is fantastic. Hydrogen power is excellent. It's the absolute cleanest you can get currently. And some cars have it. There's a Toyota that has it and a few others. And it's just difficult to get fuel because a lot of states don't have hydrogen pumps and things. Because you go to a gas station and pump hydrogen just like you would anything else. It's not like electric where you have to sit and let it charge. You just go fill up your tank and go. And I like that. I like that. You build these regional things, and you know what? That's an expenditure I can get behind, sir. I want more hydrogen. We can do that. Let's do that. If it goes through. Let's see what's next. Again, with this developing story from Washington Post World, Israel has made a massive mobilization of 360,000 reservists. That's a lot of people. But like I said, the Jewish state of Israel, it's compulsory. Everybody has to have military service, and everybody's enrolled in the military. Even if you're not currently in it, you're all on draft, and you're all in reserve in case something happens. Once you hit a certain age, you're automatic. You go do compulsory service for a couple years at least, then you can stay in or you can leave, but you're still on reserve no matter what choice you make. They can call you up for battle at any time, which is why they don't need us to send them more money. I don't think that's an anti-Israel statement. I really don't. I think they've got it handled. They don't need any more money from us. Associated Press, new California law aims to force people with mental illness or addiction to get help. And this is the absolute worst possible thing you can do for these people. Nobody can be helped or cured or made slightly better if they don't want to be. That's an addiction thing. Coming from me, when I was a lot younger, I had problems with addiction. I did for a number of years. I managed to kick it to the curb because I wanted to change. Not because anyone else wanted me to change, but because I wanted to change. I saw the way things were going for me, and I didn't like it, and I wanted to change my life. If I hadn't, I'd still be doing those things. Because the temptation is always there. If you're somebody who's a perpetual addict, you have to take extraordinary measures sometimes. Like, I don't keep anything stronger in the house painkiller-wise than just ibuprofen. Because anything else, my mind will start fixating on it. I don't keep muscle relaxers around here. I don't try to get prescriptions. I actively tell the doctors when I go in for checkups for anything that's pain-related, I tell them, hey, if you want to prescribe something, it has to be non-addictive and it has to be weak enough that I'm not going to want to take it anyway. Because that's an addictive personality. That's how people are. I know, I've been there. I've done real well for quite a long time. Would I have done that well if somebody tried to force me into a program? No. No. I'd have been rebellious, as many people are. It's a bad idea, California. Once again, from California, a bad idea. I'm not going to read the story because I think this is kind of a goofball thing, but here's some clickbait from Tech Radar. Elon Musk's year-long quest to destroy Twitter is the most successful inside job in tech history. I'm sure there's some fine, colorful opinions in that article. I'm not inclined to find out. But if you are, by all means, I'm not going to inject my bias. You can go ahead. And good luck with that. Reuters, there's still more to this developing story. German prosecutor opens murder and kidnapping probe into Hamas, which are the people attacking Israel from Palestine right now. Ooh, international courts going on, man. Things are definitely heating up. I don't know what direction it's going to go from here. It can only go from bad to worse. What's next here? NBC Politics, Trump fraud trial highlights. Alan Weisselberg, who's one of the head members of the Trump organization, the business that he ran for his real estate, grilled on financial records. They're really going to try to go after these people. They're trying to get people to spill the details, and they're trying to get these people to flip. They're trying to get people to turn on him because that's who they're after. They honestly don't care about any of these little guys. They're after this guy, Mr. Trump. Bad optics, like I said. Anyway, from the Belleville News Democrat, 5,000-year-old wine hidden in hundreds of jars at Egyptian queen's tomb. The article says, take a look. I wonder if it's worth drinking still. Hundreds of large wine jars, some still sealed, at the queen's burial in Abydos. Other grave goods were also found in the sprawling complex. The wine jars were very well preserved, quote unquote, and there were ancient grape seeds in some of them, researchers said. Very interesting. I would love to know if they're going to try to do something with that. I know different people have taken old recipes from scrapings of old ancient artifacts, and they've used chemical analysis to break them down and find out how you made them, and they've recreated them in the modern age. Probably not exactly the same because things were brewed differently then than they were now, but still, it's very interesting. I would love to see what 5,000-year-old wine tastes like. Not after 5,000 years, but after it's been recreated. I'd be interested. PC Gamer says Starfield becomes literally more expansive than ever with the introduction of its promised field of view slider. And that's a small thing for me. I don't much care, but I know it is a big thing for other people, having big, massive expanses that they can spread out. And that's mostly for big views, like the curved TVs, the curved monitors and things get the most use out of that. I don't much, but it's interesting. It was part of an update that was yesterday, if I believe. So if you haven't got that yet, check it out. Associated Press, this is an interesting headline. Morgan State University plans to build a wall around campus after shooting during homecoming week. Walls, more walls, more walls. They plan to build a wall around most of the Northeast Baltimore campus and station security personnel at entrances and exits. The wall would extend existing barriers by about 8,000 feet to encircle 90% of campus and effectively eliminate unfettered access, University President David Wilson said during a campus town hall. He says, quote, "We're doing this, let me be clear, not to keep out our neighbors and our community writ large. We're doing it to keep out the bad actors," unquote. He told an auditorium filled with students, faculty, and staff. Huh. That's a big thing. That's the most that I've seen some of these places do. Most of the time, they just go after the gun manufacturers, or they go after big ideals and things, and fire some people, hire new things, metal detectors at the doors. But that's a whole wall. That's a big deal. I wonder if that's going to work, or if it's going to make them feel. Well, what if something does happen? What if people can't get out? You know what I mean? I don't know. There's two sides to that. There's two sides to that. But I don't have any better ideas, so we'll keep an eye on it. There's a lot of will sees on this episode. I think a lot of like, who knows what's going to happen next kind of stuff. Let's see. ABC News: prosecutors seek testimony of Alex Jones in upcoming Georgia election interference trial. Good luck. Good luck. Alex Jones has not been known to be very cooperative in his own trials. I don't think he's going to be any more cooperative in this one. He's been pretty defiant during the Sandy Hook trials that he was a part of, and I don't think that's going to change for this. So good luck with that. Another big thing that I wanted to talk about real quick is I think it's RFK Jr. Was it RFK Jr.? Let me look it up to make sure. RFK Jr. Yes. What's his first name? Ronald F. Kennedy? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Was going to challenge Biden for the Democratic nomination for president, but instead he's going to run as an independent. He left the party and he's going to run as an independent. And that's an interesting turn of events, because anytime you have a third party, it pulls from one or the other of the major parties, but not usually both. It's usually one or the other. And because he was a Democrat and still has a lot of Democrat ideals, I think he's going to pull from Biden. And if Trump does manage to get that nomination and doesn't get disqualified for various 14th Amendment things that they're trying to do, this could very well hand him the victory. It very well could. Not as badly as, say, if somebody like Bernie Sanders were to run as an independent, because Bernie has a huge following despite the fact that he's absolutely useless. Personal opinion, of course, but based on various evidence, he's pretty much useless. And for some reason, he's got a huge pocket of young voters that are like, yeah, Bernie Sanders. And he would just, all he would do, he wouldn't win, but he would take away from Biden and hand Trump the victory. And I'm wondering if this is going to be a similar situation. Although RFK Jr., I don't know if he has the same kind of following as somebody like that. Not that I'm aware of. But again, it's another one of those things to keep an eye on. It's an interesting move. It's a bold move. It's not going to work out for him personally, but we'll see how it fares for the Democratic Party in 24. That's what we'll find out. And that's all. That's all I've got for it. It's even shorter than it. Like each one of these shows sometimes gets shorter and shorter. And don't want people thinking that it's going to go down to like 10 minutes and that's all your news. But the news cycle is dominated by the Israel Hamas situation, and there's only so much I can say about that. I'm not going to run constant analysis of one story. Just like if it's a big Trump cycle, I'm not going to just go nuts talking everything Trump trial and whatnot. It's I don't see the point in just taking the same story from 50 different people and smacking it and smacking it and smacking it into your face. So until that situation, I guess, resolves itself, which who knows how long that could be, I'm going to probably have some less overall news because that's what's coming up. Yeah, like I said, it's dominating the news cycles, and every couple of stories is another thing basically saying the same thing about the Israel-Hamas situation. I don't want to downplay its importance in the news. It is a big deal that's going on, but like I said, there's only so much I can say about it before it just becomes constant analysis and commentary. That being said, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, comment on this video on YouTube or send me an email at uncannyspiritsclub@gmail.com. That is the catch-all email for everything that I do, apart from my personal email, which I'm not going to tell you. I get enough junk mail there already. Not that your mail, of course, would be junk mail, but that's what would happen. I'd put that email out there and it would instantly start getting filled up with advertisements for Windows and things. Not the operating system, but new house windows. And Loom deodorant, apparently, because that's all I ever get advertisement-wise. But anyway, look, let's have some strong coffee. Let's have some bacon and eggs, some classic bacon and eggs, and let's discuss this at your kitchen table. Don't have a kitchen table? Let's do it at your dining room table. Don't have a dining room table? I will sit on your couch and try not to spill the eggs. But let's get together.